When ordinary workplace stress starts draining your business, the administrative costs and lost productivity pile up fast. But when it comes to the impact on your workers' compensation premiums, who is actually behind the wheel? Many employers operate under the assumption that the moment an employee says, "I have too much work, I'm filing for stress," you have to call the claims adjuster. That knee-jerk reaction causes standard burnout to be processed as a medical injury, which means your insurance carrier opens a file, sets reserves, and your premium costs explode. Look at this scorecard comparing two employer outcomes. On the left, a skyrocketing experience mod from accepting burnout claims. On the right, a flat premium line. South Carolina provides a massive statutory shield protecting employers from standard burnout claims that fail the legal threshold. This creates a direct dilemma at the manager's desk. When an employee complains of severe burnout, do you automatically file the paperwork with your carrier, or do you know enough to deny it internally? Practicing professional stewardship means mapping out the exact rules for mental injuries in the Palmetto State so you can stop throwing your premium money in the trash. Navigating South Carolina's mental injury claims under Section 42-1-160, subsection B, requires a systematic approach. This decision tree flowchart maps out the legal criteria. The very first filter asks a simple question: is there a physical injury? If the answer is yes, you follow the path straight to compensable. A physical injury is an automatic trigger for mental benefits. There is a clear trade-off here. If a worker breaks a leg and develops depression from the pain and disability, you have to accept the full claim cost, but you also gain a managed medical path to get that worker healthy again. If there is no physical contact, you hit the strict filter, known as the extraordinary stress bar. Think of this bar like a speeding ticket. The law is absolute. You either cross the statutory line for extraordinary stress, or you don't. Look at a typical high-pressure scenario: an employee missing a brutal sales quota or dealing with a verbally abusive customer. That is ordinary stress. The legal outcome for ordinary stress is an outright denial. The Supreme Court categorizes these events as the usual irritations of holding a job. The trade-off here is straightforward. You successfully avoid a catastrophic premium increase on your workers' comp policy, but you still have to manage a disgruntled employee using standard HR practices. Compare that office worker to a first responder witnessing a fatal accident. That clearly crosses the line into extraordinary. Because of the inherent trauma of their daily work, the rules bypass the usual friction, granting first responders a more direct path to PTSD coverage. For purely mental claims to be covered, you need definitive proof by a preponderance of the evidence that the stress was genuinely unusual compared to normal working conditions. Mental stress claims frequently emerge as a reaction to a negative performance review or a termination. Our decision flowchart expands here to show exactly how the law treats those standard human resources actions. Let's say you terminate an employee for poor performance, and you formally document it as a standard business decision. The moment they file a stress claim in response, the state's disciplinary shield activates. The system completely blocks any mental claims caused by demotions, work evaluations, layoffs, or terminations. The trade-off favors the employer. You face zero workers' compensation liability, provided you invest the upfront time to keep your HR documentation airtight. But well-meaning actions can also expose you to risk. Many employers provide counseling through an employee assistance program, or EAP. The counseling trap occurs when you offer those EAP sessions to a stressed employee, but mistakenly report the counseling to your insurance carrier as a medical workers' comp claim. By doing that, the carrier is forced to open a file. They apply mandatory complexity to your account, and your rates go up. You provided good immediate care for the worker, but you penalized your own business simply through filing ignorance. Precise classification is your ultimate defense. Knowing the exact difference between a disciplinary firing, EAP counseling, and a statutory injury is how you defeat false claims. In the Palmetto State, a stress claim is a legal hurdle requiring specific evidence before a payout is authorized. This quadrant chart maps the operational choices employers make when facing that hurdle. Down in high-risk surrender, passive managers fail. They blindly file burnout claims with their carrier, paying the price in higher premiums. Up in high-impact control, proactive employers and agents win. They aggressively screen for extraordinary stress, and use the disciplinary shield to deny invalid claims internally. Some employers hesitate to deny a claim because they fear the employee will simply sue them in civil court for emotional distress. South Carolina law blocks that too. If you defeat a workers' comp claim using these rules, the exclusive remedy shield generally bars the employee from suing you in civil court. Stress that remains a standard part of the professional role exists outside the workers' comp system. Master the rules, actively manage your HR documentation, and take control of your premiums.